What did you guys think of Link to the Past based on our playthrough for the map out? How has your thoughts process changed, stayed the same?
I think it handles combat as well as it could have. It handles exploration probably better than any game. Maybe games are equal, but it's as good as any game as far as exploration. I think the dungeons are very lacking.
Yeah, I think 2D Zelda games definitely got better. I mean, I definitely prefer the sequel to the, I guess you call it a sequel, like Link Between Worlds over this game. Um, but I still appreciate it because it was my first Zelda game, and it was a game that really taught me like the idea of like open exploration and adventure in games. Um, but I agree, I was not impressed by the dungeons playing through it, which is surprising because I hadn't, granted I didn't finish my playthrough this time, but I hadn't played through the game fully since I was very young. I remember back then being, I was very impressionable and, haven't really played a game like that before. I guess now, more of a seasoned gamer, I've seen what dungeons can be in games, and yeah, I wasn't too impressed by the dungeons.
Mm. Yeah, I'm sure you love Oracle of Seasons. So, seasoned gamer? No? Okay. So I liked my playthrough.
Hilarious.
Especially, I've never done Funniest Man Alive, right? A full playthrough of a Zelda game in one day.
That was impressive.
So, like, just feeling like this game allows you to do that. Like, the dungeons are so quick, snap of the finger. Like, I'm kind of enchanted by that idea about a game that's so quick. My first playthrough, I looked at my log. It was like 13 hours. This playthrough was under 6. It was 5 hours, 43 minutes. And, that's too long for the average gamer, of course, but I still think there's, like, some appeal to this idea of rapid fire dungeons. I do think dungeons are handled better in future iterations, better puzzles, better action, mid bosses. That's missing here, and even some of the bosses are kind of copycat of other bosses. But at the end of the day, it's nitty gritty, it's old school, and I think you have to put your mind in the place at the time. There wasn't even a goddamn Kirby game.
No Kirby.
There was no Kirby, but there was Krakow. So I'm generally impressed by the product for its time, but since that time, there's been better, and you see that within the series and from without, from indie titles, from other style games that are not indie but well funded. So it set the stage. It was really impressive for the Zelda series. I think if you look at like Alex was saying at the beginning of this thing, like the intro sequence, the first Zelda game with like kind of like a real kind of dramatic narrative telling. Stylistically, this game has it going for it. I'm still, my nostalgia for some of the visuals and the audio is still strong today. The soundtrack's legendary, even though the dungeon theme is literally the same throughout the entire game, and other Zeldas don't really do that. I like it. I like it for what it is. Is it my favorite? No. But yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say I'm glad we played this the same year as Super Metroid. And I still do appreciate this game a lot, and I still do think like it's a worthy entry in the Zelda series, and it's a great game for the console. But there for a while, I'd always wrestle like, what's the best game? Well, my favorite's DK Country, but it was always like this game and like Super Metroid, and I can safely say I would probably recommend Super Metroid over this game. If you're going for like the classic, like the perfect Super Nintendo experience,
But at the same time, I put it right next to Super Metroid as a must-play for the SNES.
Must play for sure. Must play still. Yeah, but I'm saying like I've always wrestled like which one do I think is better. Playing them both this year, I have to go Super Metroid.
Yeah, I go with you there too.
I don't know on that one. That's a good question, but I know I'd put it over Super Mario World.
I think we can agree
Come on.
there.
Yeah.
What's the matter? You don't
Yeah,
like the Dino boss in Super Mario World? The one on the Ferris wheel?
I guess I appreciate its historical value so much that I have to rate it semi-high, but I definitely think it's overrated if people are just talking about how fun it is or how good it is. When I hear that, when people are like it's the best Zelda game, and specifically when they're like it's the best 2D Zelda game, I get a lot of pause from that. Just because it might be the most legendary 2D game, 2D Zelda game.
That's true.
But I mean, any of them after honestly have better functions than this one.
Well, it's like, it's like nobody goes back and plays Grand Theft Auto 3 because it's the best game. They're just like, that game was revolutionary.
Yeah, I think within the fan base, though, there is a lot of that, like, fanboy girl-ism for Link to the Past, just blind to the fact of criticism about the game. Like it can't be criticized, in a sense. It's kind of like idolatry of the title, and I do think that it's overstated. Why have dungeons with doors with keys that are completely useless? Why have...
To be fair, though, that's not a Link to the Past problem, though. That's a Zelda problem. That's a Zelda fan problem.
I don't know, though, because
most Zelda games are pretty tight.
Yeah, the dungeons are so precise. They're not precise in Link to the Past.
Sorry, not that. I'm talking about the criticism.
What do you mean? Holding one title above criticism.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because Ocarina, Breath of the
Wild.
Yeah. I'm saying Zelda fans will not take criticism. So I'm just saying, I don't think that's
I get that.
Strictly a Link to the Past thing.
That makes sense. I thought you meant the key thing.
No,
not the key thing. Sorry, I jumped in a little late. I was thinking about it.
Gotcha.
I would challenge the Link to the Past one though more than the others, just because I just don't know that a Link to the Past ages as well. I mean, graphically it does, but I think that might be one of the problems is that graphically it's so pleasing that people don't think they have to go back and play it. And they're just like, oh, yeah, I remember that game. It was great. And it's like, well, really dig into some of those temples because they're kind of shit.
Yeah. But it's a great stepping stone.
If you look at the evolution of the first Zelda to this one, yeah, we're skipping Zelda 2. What do you want to do about it? The first Zelda to this one to Ocarina of Time, it's pretty impressive. Like that kind of growth is cool to see.
Were you talking to me?
yeah.
It was me, that's for sure. Go right ahead. Zelda who?
I don't care, man. They're never going to revisit that game.
Well, that was a spirited discussion. Join us next time for Spirit Tracks.
For Spirited Away.
Join Teddy and Alex next time for Spirit Tracks.
Join Teddy next time for Spirit Tracks.
Join the spirit of tracks. Because I'm not going to be there.
Tracks map out and just there's nobody there. It's like 3 hours long and there's no audio.
Just show up at the end oh shit, what am I doing here? Stop recording. You just have 3 empty rooms.